Come on, Bludgeon.
No. See, I told you. You can't reason with him.
I know, Blastwave. I know he's a little belligerent. I get it. But I kind of can't blame him. I mean, you had your turn in the spotlight. Maybe he deserves his too. So how about we do this? We're going to do the Transformers Robots in Disguise GotBot True Review, focusing on Warrior Class Bludgeon. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share, check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor. Have a look for me everywhere. Spend some time on the channel, see what tickles your fancy, and of course, watch season 1 of Universal Collision, a stop motion series, up now. And this is, and I'm gonna just back this up slightly here. This is the true review of Bludgeon. It is an exact, and of course Blastwave falls over, so that's great. That's a good start. It is an exact repaint of Blastwave. I think we all know that Blastwave was really a pre-tool and that this was intended to be Bludgeon all along. So you see how they compare right there. And just out of interest sake, I looked at Blastwave in full in episode 237. I also looked at the Beast Hunters version of Bludgeon in episode 230. That was a terrible little Cyberverse toy. And I looked at the ROTF Bludgeon in episode 231. So that would be this guy. Back it up here so you can see him better. That'd be this guy. He is still my go-to. This Bludgeon actually belongs to one of the scraplets. I had promised him some time ago that he could have him. You see, I used to have the Cyberverse Bludgeon as my Bludgeon. And when I saw this guy for $3, I couldn't pass it up. So he replaced my Cyberverse Transformers Prime incarnation of the character. And that was inherited by the scraplets. But it was terrible and I felt bad for giving it to them, so I promised that when this guy came out, I would rectify the situation. Because he is pretty good. I'll say this. I saw the case assortment for this wave. It is really peculiar. You have the Power Surge Optimus Prime re-release, Bumblebee, Strongarm, and Grimlock. Again, that takes up 4 out of the 8 figures in that case. The remaining 4 figures are made up of one Thermidor, who I didn't get. I love the mold, I don't really need a blue bisque. But I did look at bisque in episode 212, and it's a great mold. If you didn't get bisque, or if you are really, really into it, he's a good figure to get, I gotta believe. I would probably score Thermidor a solid 8, 8.5 to be honest with you. But I don't see me picking him up. There was one of him, there was one Bludgeon, so he is short packed, and there was 2 Twinfernos, who we'll look at another time. So, where to begin with this guy? Well, I'm actually going to take him out of it for a second, and I'm going to just bring in the box really quickly here, and back this up. There's the box. I'm going to assume that this is his animation model. I haven't seen him in Robots in Disguise yet, so I don't know if he's actually going to appear in the program or not. You can notice a couple of things here, like there's orange up on these circular pieces. He has gray fists. He seems to have green on his kneecap. So we'll see how the figure compares to this animation model of him. And of course, on the back we have product shots, you know, yeah. It is what it is. So, laying that aside and bringing this guy back in. Actually, very first thing I want to do is take a second, before I talk about it, I want to take a second here and I want to try and show his head sculpt a bit better. See how close in we can get here. Right there, I mean, it's a gorgeous head sculpt, very Bludgeon-esque. I absolutely love it. So, backing this guy up now and standing him up again. He comes with one accessory, and that accessory, of course, is his sword. You know, it's a sword, and maybe I need to take him out of it so it focuses on this. It's a sword. It's a nice silver, and the handle is green. There is a peg right there. He does hold it like a champion, so we'll lay that aside. Now, paint apps for this guy. Well, I really need to, this is one of those figures where I really need to talk about paint apps and quality of materials used. So we'll address both the paint apps and quality of materials used. I like paint apps. I think it's, honestly, it's a solid, I'd say 9.5. He has orange fists instead of gray. He has completely black shins instead of having some kind of green down there. Maybe green, just down under his kneecap here. The orange is a bit more of a brighter fluorescent type of orange, like a highlighter type of orange. I think it should have been darker. I think it should have been a shade or two darker, but it is accurate. It's where it belongs. That being said, though the paint is 9.5, I do think that we are starting very slightly to see some mold degradation. And here's why. Out of package, this arm over here was out of the ball socket. It wasn't even in there. I had to put it back in. On his chest, there's a little hole down in his chest that goes over a little green tab, kind of, I guess, on his neck. And that's what locks the head into place. But, that being said, the chest does tend to move pretty easy. Now, it moved easy on Blast Wave too, especially as the shoulder piece is knocked into it, but I feel like it moves easier on this guy. Out of package, he's like this, and his tank cannons are down on his back. Now, you can certainly leave them like that, but they're supposed to really be up around, according to everything I've seen. The problem is, the little hole down here that this little 5mm peg goes in is really loose on this guy. When I put this in Blast Wave, I get like an audible click. I don't get that here. Now, I mean, I guess they stay okay. They might pop out on you with play if you're twisting them up and down. But they pop back in, no problem. And of course, you can bring them down over his shoulders. Because of the couple of sections that I think are slight mold degradation, it has to drop. That becomes a 7.5. So we have a 7.5 and 9.5. In terms of materials and paint apps, I'm going to give a score of 8.5. Articulation for this guy. That's the next thing. Well, it's the exact same as it was with Blast Wave. Picking that up, the head goes left, it goes right. It can kind of look up because if you detach from the chest because of the way the head transforms. It can't look down. I'll save the arms for last. The legs go way out to the side. They can go all the way forward. They can go not really back because of this section. Nice 90 degree or slightly over 90 degree. Thigh swivel, nothing at the toes, waist swivel, which is nice to see. We have nothing at the wrist, we have a 90 degree at the elbow, and a bicep swivel. And now we come to the shoulders. If you leave the shoulders in this orientation, then you're going to be able to go all the way out to the side. Like that, which I think is pretty respectable. I think that that works pretty good. I have the shoulders up one click, and they really only go up that one click. But that means that when you try to rotate them around, it becomes hit or miss because they may hit off of the chest, although it's not really doing it very much there now. just a little bit. Maybe. If you feel like it's hitting off of the little tiny, I guess, ear antenna pieces right there on either side, you can bring it out one click, bring it out one click. Now it'll clear that section, no problem at all. But when you go to put his arm out, you only get it out that far. So it's really kind of your call, and you probably heard the singular clicks there. He also has, because of transformation, with the ball joint in right here, he also kind of has a bit of a butterfly joint forward and back, a little bit of a butterfly joint. If you put that shoulder down, you can get a little bit more into the butterfly joint and bring his arms forward. So he has a lot. It's just you kind of have to finagle the shoulder pads maybe slightly. I'm going to give his articulation, because it really has everything except ankle tilt, I'm going to give that, honestly, I'm going to give that a solid 8.5. So far the guy is still scoring pretty well. We're going to run through the transformation. If you want to see it in detail, check out Blastway's review. But I'm going to do it real quickly here for you now. So you come to the back, and this should just fold down. Now, of course, it's probably going to pop into that hole, but it should just fold down like that. Turn the head around and open up the chest and push the head back. Take the arms here and straighten them out. Turn them so the fist is facing upward and bring it up. Turn it so the fist is facing upward and bring it up. So now his arms look like that. Turn the arm that way so that the whole gray section here is facing out and facing out. And now you're going to bring the arms together. You have an orange tab here that's going to go into a slot here, and you have a gray tab up here that's going to go into a slot over here. And that will lock his arms together. Bring them in on the ball joints. Bring them together. And tab them together like that. Take these cannons, straighten them out. That's the top of the tank done. Now for the legs. Bring them all the way out to the side and angle them forward at the knee. And forward at the knee. Like that. Take this knee piece and bring it back. And this knee piece and bring it back. What you're going to do now is you're going to detach the front of the shin, and it's going to kind of come up around this knee piece, and everything is going to sort of box in around this green square. So you know that it's fit right. Bring the knee piece all the way back and bring that down. Over on this side, I'll show it again. Bring this knee piece all the way back. Detach the shin and bring it all the way around. Now, we're almost there. He's sort of just free flowing at the moment. We have a tab here on the orange and a tab over here on the orange that goes into a little black slot on the tire, or well, the tread, and a little black slot over here on the tread. And in the end, here you have Bludgeon in his tank mode, and he rolls like a champ. His cannons can angle up and down. He has a full rotation around, which is why I'm still giving his articulation an 8.5, because it's so posable in this mode. If you use the 5mm port on the back of his head, you can even store his sword up there. So that's pretty cool. It's a solid Bludgeon figure. I'm going to give his transformation, it's involved, but it's easy, it's fun. I'm giving his transformation, honestly, a 10. I love it. I think it's great. It's easy to flick back and forth, but yet there's a lot of parts that move, and you know, some ingenious things like going around this green square section. I think is a bright way of doing that to kind of make sure that everything is lined up. So we have a 8.5 going in, a 10. The guy is like a 9, a solid 9, maybe a 9.25. It's a good figure. Now, here's the thing. I think that if you're going for like a masterpiece aesthetic, I think the third-party Susano is probably your best bet, even though that borrows very heavily from the ROTF mold. The ROTF mold, I think, especially for chug collectors, is still the go-to bludgeon. It's a great figure, you know, even to this day. It really is. I think that if you don't have that figure, but you'd like to have bludgeon in your collection, this guy is a close second. He's a little bit smaller. That's why I still pick the movie version bludgeon, because he's a Voyager. I feel like that's a good size for him. But if you're cool with bludgeon being a deluxe, because really, let's be honest, the Warrior is basically a deluxe size figure. This is a wonderful one to have, and get rid of that Transformers Prime Cyberverse junk. That's just junk. So it's a good figure. I like him. If you're down for him and you can kind of handle the orange being a shade brighter than probably you'd like, I think he's a good one to get. I really do. Especially because he's short packed. He's not going to be the easiest one to get. So I want to thank Scraplets for letting me take a look at this guy. I want to thank you for dropping by and giving me some of your valuable time. Let me know what you think of this guy. And as always, I look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the video.